Emergency bell was rung, and both girls that were caught in the act of lesbianism were paraded in front of our curious eyes. Although Linda and I were present in the room while the girls were having sex, we feigned ignorance. The principal exposed the deeds of these two girls, after which they were expelled and escorted by two policemen who had been waiting impatiently for the very unnecessary assembly to be over. The principal also warned us that the fate of these two students who were expelled and arrested would also befall any one of us caught in the act. My legs trembled as I stood and watched the principal foaming with rage as she addressed us. Although I did not practice the act, I had been a spectator who had been vividly enjoying the show as well as enjoying the caress of Linda's hands on my hands. From where I stood, I could feel Ava's stare burning into my face. I was very sure she had lots of questions to ask me, since the two girls who were being expelled were my friends and roommates. But I was not bothered by Ava because I did not really see her as my friend anymore, so I don't owe her any explanation. I hurriedly walked towards my room immediately the principal dismissed us. Linda smiled and hugged me immediately we entered the room. She assured me not to worry as no harm would come near me. I should just accept her proposal and we would be fine. Few weeks later, we were done with our examination and our school vacated. As I waited for my parents in the parking lot, Linda stepped out majestically and walked towards the luxurious car waiting for her. Just as she was about to step into the car, she looked back at me, smiled and blowed kisses at me. I smiled back and waved. Before coming downstairs, we had shared passionate kiss in the room, and she had even cried on my shoulders while telling me how much she would miss me. We had not done anything serious because I still had not accepted her proposal. Yet, she had been nothing but sweet to me. She had gifted me lots of classy clothes and money to flex with during the holiday, and also a phone. As our car drove away, I could not stop thinking about her. I had fallen in love. My father honked his old Volvo, bringing me back to reality. After hugging my dad, we packed my luggages into his boot and he asked of Ava. I told him Ava had left already. It was a lie, of course, as I could see Ava struggling to drag her big bags down the pavement and towards the car park. Thankfully, my father did not see her as he drove away. I didn't want Ava around me anymore because Linda, the love of my life, didn't want me to mingle with Ava anymore. She did not want anyone to snatch me from her. The Christmas holiday was the best vacation I had ever experienced. Although it was the first ever vacation I had spent without my ex-best friend Ava. I still enjoyed myself because I had lots of cash to spend and classy clothes to wear to notable places, thanks to Linda. Although Linda spent her holiday overseas, no day passed by without we checking up on each other. Soon the holiday was over and school resumed for the new term. Our former principal had been replaced with a newer, stricter woman to the chagrin of Linda. Linda and I grew closer and fonder of each other, and I finally accepted her proposal. She treated me like a queen. I was sitting on the toilet seat one day when two girls walked into the washroom and started gossiping. I recognized the first speaker's voice, Ava. The second girl was Ava's new best friend, Celine. I had seen both of them together since resumption, and although I felt a pang of jealousy, but I did not allow it to bother me because they were both poor losers. The two losers started gossiping about Linda and I strained my ears from where I was standing to hear what they were saying. Our former principal is a lesbian and Linda was a puppet, I heard Celine telling Ava. Oh my God, Ava gasps. How did you know? I caught them together in our office last year, Celine replied Ava. Now that your friend Avery and Linda are so close, are you sure they are not lesbian partners? Celine asked Ava. My name is Avery, of course. How dare this bitch call my name? I thought to myself. I flushed the toilet, stormed out of the room, walked up to Celine and gave her a resounding slap on her face. She fell on the floor and I glared at Eva, who was too soon to speak. I warned her never to speak ill of Linda anymore. As I was about to walk away, Eva grabbed my left arm, forcing me to stare eyeball to eyeball with her. Her eyes were sparkling with tears building up. Staring into her eyes, I could read many warnings and pleas for me to retrace my steps. Her eyes spoke many words, but the only word she could stutter from her lips was, "Please." Eva had never been in love, so she wouldn't understand how my heart felt. Although I had accepted Linda's proposal, we hadn't done anything rather than share kisses once in a while. The farthest we had done was deep kiss, and I loved every moment of it. But I wanted more. My body was hungry for more, and I wanted to satisfy this weird and interestingly sweet hunger. I let Linda know about how I felt, and she promised we were going to explore each other's body that night. We were beneath a huge tree at the back of our classroom when the romantic conversation and sexual promises ensued. But unknown to us, Celine had been eavesdropping on our conversation and heard everything. That night, Linda fulfilled her promise to me. She explored every corner of my body so gently that I thought I would faint out of pure pleasure. We were both naked and she was lying on top of me with a big cucumber in her hand, and that was the position we were caught by our new principal, our house mistress, and of course, the unforgiving bitch, Celine. They had opened the door quietly while we had been engrossed in our passionate lovemaking. They had stood there and watched for a while, so Linda and I could not deny because we were caught in the act. The school mistress wasn't looking too happy, and Linda quickly rushed to meet her and held her hands while whispering quietly to her ears, and that was the last time I ever saw Linda. The next day, I sat down quietly in the hallway and listened as the new principal addressed the pupils on the danger of disobedience and how another student had been caught yet again practicing lesbianism. I was on handcuffs, and beside me 2 policemen were standing. Emergency bell had been rung for myself and Linda, but I could not find Linda anywhere. I had the principal inform the assembly girls of Merited Queen's College that one of the girls escaped, but the other girl would face a punishment of expulsion and arrest squarely. That was my cue to stand up as I was invited to the podium to be paraded in front of the students. This was my first time standing in front of them. I just wished the ground would open up and swallow me. I scanned the crowd if I would see Linda, but she was nowhere to be found. My eyes and Eva's eyes met, and I could see her weeping. Standing beside her was evil Celine, who was laughing at my predicament. I kept hearing loud sobbing from a distance, and I looked towards his direction only to see my mother sobbing uncontrollably and my father trying to control her while having a hard time controlling his own emotion. That was the last thing I remembered before I fainted. The next time I woke up, I find myself behind bars, solely facing the repercussion of an offense that was committed by 2 people. It had been 10 years since the incident, and here I am, writing this letter from the corner of my room in the prison, quietly facing my 14 years imprisonment for lesbianism. I am a 24-year-old girl now, and I've gotten used to being behind these bars. Eva never for once stopped coming to visit me. She had graduated from Merited Queen's College, graduated from the university, done her youth service, and was now working in a government hospital with mouth-watering salary. She had gotten married and was expecting her first child in few months' time. Yet, she never for once deserted me. She had helped take care of my parents during my absence. From her, I learned that Celine was the one that reported us to her mother, who was the new principal as at then. I also learned that Linda's mother was the owner of Merited Queen's College and had aided her daughter to escape to America, where she continued her studies and her sexual preference in a country where lesbianism is legally accepted. That first night with Linda, we had not really gotten deep into the acts. We were only caught naked, lying on top of each other and kissing. So I can boldly say I am still a virgin. Yet I was a scapegoat. But Linda, who was a core expert in lesbianism, enticed other students and even had sex with the former principal and some teachers, went scot-free. I was a scapegoat. My name is Avery Daniels and this is my story. Sitting down behind bars and writing this letter so that everyone can read and know what actually transpired that night. I should be out of here in 4 years' time, and I'm counting down the years, months, and days left to be spent in here. Linda Arega, beware. I am coming for you. I will surely get my revenge.